Hello and welcome back to the channel. We're here today to review Scuf's new wired controller, the Valor Pro for Xbox and PC. This product was provided to me by a cooperation of the lab.gr website and Scuf. I want to thank them both for sending the item free of charge. This has nothing to do with my opinion on the product and also with my rating on the product as well. Let us observe the product in detail and give some info on the company that made it. This controller is out on 4 colors, the one that we have on this video, which is the black one, a white one with some gray areas, the gray version which has some orange tints, and lastly the smoke variant, which is semi-transparent and we can see the internals of the controller. It's a wired Xbox controller that falls within the category of performance controllers which Scuf created in 2011. It's been 14 years since then, and they have worked together with pros in order to create a new controller with improved ergonomics and good handling. The performance controller subcategory is the one that uses rear paddles, and they have refined the ergonomics since 2011. This shape places the rear paddles exactly where your fingers naturally sit in the back of the controller, so it makes it easier for the paddles to be pressed. Another new feature that this controller has is the rapid trigger. There's a switch on the back of the controller and one can flip it in order to have a mouse click feel, or else if they want to have a full range of motion, they flip it again and then it's favorable for racing, let's say. Another key feature of this controller is the anti-draft Hall effect thumbsticks. Those sticks use magnets to detect movement, so they significantly reduce the risk of drift. Scuf has calibrated them so they feel exactly like the usual sticks. Another key feature is the 1000 Hz polling rate only on PC. This will come with an update soon. Also, another feature is the superior ergonomics. The shape has been redesigned by Scuf, and the paddles are placed exactly where they should be in order for your fingers to press them easily. They have also contoured bumpers that make transitioning between triggers and bumpers quicker and more efficient. Also, they feature a non-slip grip that helps during those sweaty situations. Also, you can use the audio control system to mute, raise the volume or lower the volume on the fly without having to look at the controller. You can also remap the paddles to do any function that the controller has. There are 3 profiles on the controller by default, and you can switch between them with the press of a button. Now we can go ahead and do an unboxing of the Valor Pro, and then set up various functions the controller has to offer, and finally hear how the controller's inputs sound like. Inside the packaging you can find a USB Type-C cable, which is 3.6 meters. The controller itself is about 260 grams, and the total inputs on the device are 24 keys. The controller is compatible with Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and Windows PCs. On the packaging you can find also 2 additional thumbstick grips, which are taller than the default ones. Let's not go ahead and connect the controller to the PC and see how it works. We connect the USB on the controller, then we press the X button briefly for 2 seconds and it powers up. As we see, there's an orange light indicating that we're on profile 1, which we can easily swap to profiles 2 and 3 by pressing the rear button on the middle of the controller. As you see, the pressing of the button changes the color on the controller, and we can tell from the light on which profile we're in. Now let's connect the 3.5mm jack to the controller in order for us to have audio from the controller itself. Now, by using SC1 and SC2, we can raise the volume or lower the volume of our game, and by pressing the button, we can mute the game entirely. On the other side, there is the mic input. We can do the same on this one. We can mute it by pressing it or lowering and raising the volume. As you can see, when it mutes, there is a light on the left side indicating that it's muted. Now let's see how we replace the inner paddles with the inner paddles blanking plates. We find the place where we can place our finger and raise the paddle so it goes off. After taking it off, we can bring the inner paddle blanking plate and place it in their place instead. Now we can show how to remap the rear paddles. We flip the controller, we press the profile key for 2 seconds so that the light in the front of the controller starts blinking. Now we can remap the paddles. We press and hold both the paddle and the key that we are trying to remap to, so when it's done the controller shakes, so that is confirmation that what we tried to achieve is complete. After that, we press the profile button once more in order for us to save the change we made. Let's try to disable the paddles on the rear. This is how we do it. We press briefly for 2 seconds the profile key, then the light starts blinking on the front of the controller. Now we press the paddle that we want to disable and the share button at the same time. A light starts blinking so that we confirm we did the action. After that, all we have to do in order for us to save is press once the profile button. We can now check the instant triggers and how we can change from mouse clicks to full range of motion. This can be done easily by flipping the controller. We can see that there are 2 switches on the left and on the right, each corresponding to each trigger. So if we flip the left towards the right, we enable full motion, so we can use it on racing, let's say, or other games. If we flip the switch towards the left, we enable the instant trigger, so now the trigger is like mouse clicks. This is what we want when we play FPS games with the controller. We can also check how to replace the thumbstick on the controller. We pull the faceplate so that it comes off. As you can see, the default ones are the short ones. Now we pull the stick firmly upwards, so now we can see the magnetic hole sensor stick underneath. Now you should align the hole on the bottom with the post, so that we insert the thumbstick on the correct place. We gently push the thumbstick and it's done. Now we can get the faceplate on the controller again. As you can see, the right stick is taller than the left one. Of course, you can do the same on the left stick as well. Lastly, let's press the keys on the controller and hear how they sound. Now let's do a briefing on what we saw earlier. This controller is a budget controller, let's say, from Scuf on the performance category. It costs about 110 euros or $99. It's made of plastic, but it doesn't feel cheap and has nice ergonomics. The bad thing is that it's a fingerprint magnet, as you may have noticed on the video. Also a dust magnet as well. The controller plays like it should play. Another thing I'm afraid of is when someone uses the rapid triggers, which is really rapid and gives an advantage when playing FPS games on controller. and it gives a really nice mouse click feel, although I am not sure how durable will they be over time. All the keys and sticks work as intended and had no problem using it. I didn't notice something different from any other controller I've used in the past, so that's a good thing, I guess. And it gets the job done with ease, and I had no hand fatigue. For some, another bad thing here is that it's wired, so one needs to have it connected all the time with the PC or the Xbox device. But Scuf has given us a 3.6 meter long cable, so for most distance will be no problem. I had no issues with the controller in general, and I would gladly recommend it to someone that wants a performance controller with rear paddles and has the whole sensor magnetic sticks. It's lower than €150, which is the usual price point for performance controllers with these specifications. So if someone asked me to rate the controller, I would rate price-wise 7.5 out of 10, performance-wise 9 out of 10. On the ergonomics, I would give a 9 out of 10 as well, so that makes it a total average of 8.5 out of 10. As a conclusion, it's a recommendation for someone that wants something premium that works well and is supposedly built to last. We just have to wait and see if they keep their promise on drift-free sticks. I want to thank again my friends at thelab.gr. Also, I want to thank Scuf for sending out the product free of charge. Also, I want to thank everyone that watched this video, and I hope I see you again on the next one.